Ashland's boom has hit a wall. With zero local timber or stone supply, the sudden rush of framing, paving, and foundation work has sent costs through the roof. Lumber and stone prices have nearly doubled, and developers are pulling back as profit margins vanish. Homebuyers are pausing deposits, construction companies are laying off crews, and City Hall's phones have been lighting up with complaints about ballooning prices and stalled projects. There's a sense that Ashland's momentum may be slipping away. So today, we're going to bring construction costs down by building out our first local forestry industry, along with a small aggregate mine. We'll also expand on a few farms and add in a waste transfer facility. Let's get to work, and this time with our own materials. Alright, welcome back to Ashland, and today we're going to be doing a few different projects. And really the goal of these projects is to get our budget into a decent place, and hopefully they will. So the first one isn't going to be associated with a good budget whatsoever, but we're going to build a custom waste transfer facility. And we're going to do that right here in an industrial park. And to do this, I know what you're thinking probably, there's no waste transfer facility in the game, but if we go to our industrial and we search for warehouse, we should be able to find one that's big enough to accommodate what we're looking for here. So maybe even something like this could do the trick, or even like this. And I think we're going to go with this one right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to plop this down, and let's see if we can drag two of these pretty close together. I think it would look just a bit more cohesive if we can. Something like that should do the trick pretty well. And then from here, let's quickly delete these trees. And then we will grab a concrete surface. Pretty much anyone will do. Maybe we'll take this very stripped dark concrete. On the sides here, we're going to add in a road. And let's say it's about this big. We'll pull it close to a road, but not all the way. We'll come right around here, and then we'll just connect in. But first, we're going to go around this building. And I think that should do the trick right there. From here, we're going to grab an alleyway, and let's just send it up right about here. And I probably should have done this first. It would have made it a bit easier. Yeah, that right there should work. And then we're going to go to our waste management. We'll grab our garbage service block. We'll place that inside here. And then let's grab it. And from here, I want to add on some garbage trucks. And we're going to add them not too close to our road right here. So let's say here, here, and here. And then from there, we actually need to add a garbage dump block. And each block holds about 100 tons of garbage. It can process about 2 kilograms per month. We don't really care how much this block is actually servicing Ashland. I want to see this more as a waste transfer facility. So if it doesn't do too much, that's perfectly fine. We're going to place this in here. Well, actually, we'll do a few of them. And how much does it give us? So that gives us 400 tons of stored garbage and 8 kilograms per month. Let's go over and quickly compare that to our actual landfill, if I could click on it. And our landfill has 1,300 tons of stored garbage and can process 121 tons per month. So compared to this building right here, there's a significant difference. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I like it. Then, obviously, we want to do a little bit of detailing here to make this seem like some type of garbage is actually stored here. We're going to use Find It for this one. Go into our props, and I'm just going to search up garbage. Okay, nice. Here we go. So this is kind of what I'm looking for, is these garbage piles. And what I'm going to do is find a few that are full. I'm going to turn off snap to the surface of an object, because if we don't turn this off, what we get is this. And I don't want to see them stack on top of each other. So now with that, I'm going to just kind of mash these together and try and get something that seems like, oh wow, that's massive. That's probably a bit too big for what we need it for. Anyways, I'm trying to get something that just doesn't feel too perfect. Maybe something like this. It kind of looks bad. So we'll add in a few more big ones to help even that out. And it doesn't really look like garbage. So I think there's going to be a few things that we'll need to do here. The First one is, let's go into our decals. And right here we have our trash decals, and I think we can make these work really well in this area. So we'll grab some debris, a few of the litter. Oh, even these cardboard ones will work really nice. We could probably plop some gray dust around here too. Now let's go and just spray some of these in here. I just want to find something I can put underneath of this surface just to make it seem like the concrete isn't all that perfect. And I think what we can use is some of these cracks. I think that's definitely going to help. We could probably even get away with using the sand, but I know I have a dirt surface in here. I just cannot find it for the life of me. Actually, we could probably use the riverbed thin and have that come around the sides because I feel like that could look nice too. And then a few stains just make that come to life a bit more. And then over here, to finish this area up, let's add some cracks along these lines because I really like the way that looks. There we go. It's one of those things that you wouldn't really notice unless you're really close and zoomed in, but I just think it really does make somewhat of a difference. Then I would like to replace this surface with something that's more aligned with our concrete dark, so we'll swap all those out. For the outside, I'm going to make it a bit less grassy, add a fence around here, add some road marks, and that's pretty much it. Something like that should work, I think. Makes it feel just a bit different from the rest of the area. Now I just want to add a bit of vegetation along here. There we go. And last but not least, I was actually thinking we could probably throw some of these in too. We don't need to have a bunch of them, but even just a few would really make this area just pop a bit more. And actually, last but not least, and I'm sorry that I'm spending so much time on this, I just want to make this area feel a bit more dirty. So we'll come through and just spam a few of these in. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. Actually, okay, last but not least, and I'm sorry. I get too specific in the details. We'll slap that there. Then we'll grab our service block if we can get it. And I only want this to operate in this section. So we'll select here. And this should be way too much even for this area alone. I mean, for this service alone. So this is where I'm going to leave that for now. Now let's click play and see if we can just resolve this one right here. If we do, I'm happy. And look at that, immediately gets resolved. You'll love to see it. So where are they going? Let's follow one. Oh wow, this is a great view. No, where are you guys going? Don't leave me behind. There we go. You know, sometimes I think it's nice to see a little view of the city that you've built, and just taking a first-person trip really helps with that. Now we need to move on to our next part, and one of the clear costs that would probably be driving up the cost of living is the fact that we have absolutely zero industry for wood or stone. And these are both two important materials that are needed for building up houses and leveling up, and a bunch of other things that I'm sure the game doesn't tell us. These are two that we need to get in, especially wood. Right now we're at such a major deficit, and it would just drive the cost of living up like crazy. I think the best way to solve for this is just to get some wood production going. Let's go build out our forestry industry, and I'm thinking we'll do it right here, right near a highway, right near a lot of our other industry. I think it's a pretty good spot. It's either that or we could do it behind Norwich, which is also a pretty good contender. I mean, this entire area is a pretty good contender for expansion in the future. But for right now, we're worrying about the forest industry, so I need to stay on topic. I think I'm going to build it out here and maybe one here as well. And maybe one here. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll start with this one right here because, of course, that's going to make our traffic worse than ever, so might as well do it. We need... Oh, this is a tough one because we're going to need a road that connects into here, and the traffic is just already pretty bad. There's honestly probably a couple of fixes we could make here. Wow, even the queuing is just super long. Oh, these are all parked cars. Okay, I don't see a reason that you need to park here, so I'm sorry. Parking is now gone. There we go. And that doesn't remove the queue. I'm wondering, before I get too far off topic, where are you going? So you really just want to go into here, eh? I can think of an interesting way to solve this. I don't know how safe it's going to be, but I'm going to try it out. So we will grab our 3-lane asymmetric highway. We're going to add back in our lane here, but I want to do this in a very specific way. So let's remove that and like this. Then we're set to vanilla, remove unsafe. This one goes forward. It doesn't go that way. From here, and this is going to be very interesting. I'm going to grab right here, come down into 90 and snap right in. Let's reverse the direction. And now I'll ban that forward movement. I don't think it's necessary. And you're also not allowed to turn here either. There, now this gives them a way to turn in here immediately without having to jam up this. It's kind of feels a bit patchworky, but it would work, you know, after we cut through these hills. Yeah, okay. I think I can live with that for now. I don't know how effective that's going to be. I think the only other change we'll need to make is that this would need to be a 3-lane asymmetric to actually support this movement. And then we'll remove the lights that it generated for us. And why are they stopped? They shouldn't have a reason to stop. If you want to go right, then turn right. So I'll set this as the priority, but honestly, both of these are fine being priority. And I guess we could also make this a 3-lane asymmetrical too. It doesn't make as much sense, but it would just give a bit more movement. And of course, it's just because most people want to turn left and go that way. And that's kind of the movement that is the hardest here. Going right isn't really all that difficult. You have this free flow movement right here. This kind of calls for a proper upgrade to this entire infrastructure here. But before I upgrade the infrastructure along this one, I want to develop a little bit more in here. And that's kind of what I'm going to do before even touching this road any further. So now that I've gotten off track for this long, let me get back to my original purpose of building out the forestry industry. And I'm wondering, something I didn't really check was to see how steep this area is. And it's not too bad. There's definitely a few hills, and we're going to work with them rather than just flatten it all. I'm wondering, does it make sense to have the junction here or create another one down here? I think either way, this needs 2 connections, and one will probably be here, even though this area is already pretty bad. So we're going to start right here, and we're going to trying to grab in the middle at least. But let's grab our zonable 2-lane highway. Where are you? And from here, we'll send this up. And I don't think we'll have constant slope on. And I may even want to just make this a dirt road instead, because as of right now, there wouldn't be a reason to have a proper upgrade. So let's turn on zoning cell length, grab somewhere in the middle, then we'll send this up. Let's go pretty much right here, right before the hill. And then from here, we're going to grab these little spots right here. And we definitely clearly have some elevation changes. So in this case, we will turn on constant slope just to make sure it's not too butchered. And we're going to try and follow this line right here. And we're going to come down at 5%. And there we go. Not too many changes happen there. I'd like to see that. And then we'll send this directly straight. And we may even meet up with this one as well. Yeah, I think it makes sense to have that connection in there as well. Why not? This road is becoming a bit redundant now and would probably only make things worse. So I'm tempted to say we're going to cut this off and curve into here instead. There we go. And that should just help with traffic just a tiny bit. Then from here, I do want to just kind of connect these two together and not have a parallel road for this one. And wow, I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to look at it until we have an episode dedicated to fix that. So from here, I'm going to go up about 10 units. Then I'll grab one of these points and let's say 14. And then we'll just curve into right here. And then from here, I just want to send this back up. So we'll grab somewhere along here. We'll go our 14. And then we'll connect right in. And I'm just going to make these two a bit more flowy. There we go. Okay, so this gives us a bit of land to work with. We can also send it up here, but it's a bit more hilly. I don't think we're going to work with this area just yet. And then we have a pretty significant slope here. So we're going to curve around this slope. Again, trying to work with it instead of fight it. So we'll go something like, I wish I could see the actual grade. Something like this. And let's see what that does to our terrain. It's not too bad. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it's not too bad either. From here, we'll send this straight up. And we're actually matching the tile's edge pretty well. It's not perfect, but I'm happy enough with it. And how bad was our sloping there? It wasn't too bad. It's definitely enough to be livable. And then from here, this will probably end. And so we'll come in somewhere like this and do something maybe like that, just to add another road. It'd be a bit of an unsafe one, but I think we can make that work. From here, I literally just want a grid. So let's snap onto that point, grab our grid tool. I almost kind of wish it was aligned with the train tracks, but it's fine that it's not. We'll grab this middle point again. We're going to send this up. I'll take 3% so we don't slope too much. Yeah, I'm not really too happy with how this one came out. So let's try this again. And this time we'll curve a lot earlier. That means we'll have to probably do a little bit of grading for this hill. I can live with that. This is where our next entry point will be in. There we go. And then I think the only odd thing is that we wouldn't have some sort of connection here, even if they wouldn't be optimal. So I'm going to remove all these trees here. And I really just cannot stand this. It's got to go. It's got to go. I'm going to do what I was originally going to do before I started making things way too complicated. I'm going to connect right in, straight up and over. And then from here, we're pretty much ready to build what we want. And to start, the first thing I want to do is grab out our specialized industry, grab our forestry industry, and we're going to make these fairly big. So we're going to chop these grids up quite a bit. We're going to keep them off this main road as well. We're going to stretch out our surfaces is the next step. So let's get that done. And then from here, we're going to delete some of our roads. I almost wish I didn't make this the main road, because then I could have chopped these up a bit more and made it just a bit different. Okay, and I was initially going to have these just have a bit of separation from the main road, so I could put trees there. But honestly, it doesn't even make sense. There's no point. I can just put trees there anyways. I'll probably put a fence along these as well later on, unless it already comes with one, and no, it doesn't. And then I figured we can use these empty lots for either more forestry industry or some type of forestry building, either storage, really anything I'm happy with. So now we just need to add our trees into the actual industry itself. I believe oak wood is pretty solid. Hickory I think is good too. Spruce I'm pretty sure is solid. I'm pretty sure spruce is actually a really good one. I'm going to place a few different trees, and if you know anything about this, feel free to let me know and I'll replace the trees. So I'll start with some baby spruce. I'm going to try and keep the width all the same. So let's actually turn off fixed length. And shout out to City Planner Plays, I totally forgot we could use the grid tool for the trees. It's actually really, really nice. Now let's do some elderly, or I guess we'll go mature and we'll do them down here. I don't know if they'd make it all the way to elderly. And we'll grab some young. And then we'll put some more here as well. This time I'm just going to set it to have all of the tree ages. And this time I'm going to pull it down and see what kind of look that gives us. Maybe a bit too dense for my liking. I kind of like that look just a bit more. Yeah, honestly, I think that one came out better. And there we go. Yeah, I think that looks so much nicer. It almost feels kind of more like a real forest. Then for here, I'm thinking we can grab some of our industrial props or even our buildings. Let's go into industrial and type in forest and just give me everything related to the forestry industry. And then I'm thinking back over here, we can have a few of these forestry hubs placed to create kind of a center of operations. Let's swap it up every now and then though. Let's make sure it's level 5. I think that should only give us 2 choices, or 3 choices. Ooh, that counts for the paper factory. I really wish it didn't. I mean, it's kind of a laughable unlock anyways, because it's honestly just way too easy to unlock. But still, it does feel a bit like cheating, and I don't like that. But I'm not going to change this, and I can't go back in time anyways. And then I could just see these as some form of worker barracks. And then right here, let's get some storage happening. What's our biggest storage that we have? That's not too bad. I'd like it to fit the entire area. So let's just go with 2 6x6s, and we'll center them along here. And we're going to delete these lights. We'll delete that middle fence. Ooh, there seems to be a bit of sagging. I'm going to try and not get too hung up on perfecting this. Then from here, I'm going to go in and look for our logs. I'm going to turn on fence mode. Snap these right behind here. And I want these to be a bit closer. It's not going to let me. And it really did not like me for whatever reason. And I feel like there has to be better versions of these. So let's try and find them. Ah, yes, they're right here. Yeah, these ones are way nicer. And then let's have some variants, but let's get the biggest one I can find in here first. We'll have some here, a few here, and actually let's try and stack these on top of each other. That works. And then can we get a smaller one to stack on top of this? Yeah, it's not too bad. And then we'll get some different colored wood. There we go, and something kind of like that. And then for the surface here, I'm wondering, is there something that would just fit a bit better? Like maybe, I wish the bucket tool was updated. I'd love to use it again. Maybe something like this? I'd almost expect to see grass, but more, like grass that has more dirt, kind of like that. And then from here, what I want to do is actually add in some net lanes. And I'm looking for a dirt path of sorts, or a dirt road. I think this actually works really well. So this is 06. How does number 7 look? Number 7 looks pretty decent too. This one looks a bit much. This one looks good too, but I think we're going to go with, let's go with number 6. And we have our parking, and I'm just going to disable that so I don't have to look at it. And we'll parallel this in. And we'll turn off our parallel. Kind of just come up like right here, nice and gentle, give me a good blend. So then from here, all I want to do is grab some decals and make it more wood chippy underneath, or something more woody, I guess. And that doesn't really feel like pine needles to me. That one, maybe. That one definitely closer. Maybe this? Yeah, I think that's what we'll go with. And then I'm just going to add them in along here. And then for a bit of variation, let's do something different here. We'll grab our thick sand. Now I'm going to grab this one and spin it around. I don't know anything about the forestry industry, so hopefully maybe they're picking these up or something. I don't know. And I just want to fix off these rough spots right here. So let's go to dirt road number 6. Okay, now I just want to adjust this grass. And there we go. And then maybe on this side, ooh, let's remove everything except for netlands. Yeah, maybe on this side we can do something more like this. Now I'm going to quickly finish this, just doing the same formula over here. And that's pretty much it. Not too bad. I'm not very well versed in the forestry industry, so if you have any ideas on how I can make this better, please feel free to share them and I'm happy to implement them. Okay, last but not least, I think we could add in some sort of manufacturing or the buildings that we have right here for forestry industry. I'll pull them up. So these ones right here, I feel like we could probably add these in somewhere. I don't know where these would be added in though. This is probably more for processing. I'm not sure if we process in the same area that we'd actually extract in. Probably not. But then again, what do I know? Let's take a look here. So what, do these make like wood chips or mulch? I guess wood chips and mulch are the same thing, aren't they? You know, I feel like we probably wouldn't process in this area. I feel like we'd probably process maybe around here or somewhere down here. I think I'll turn this into another warehouse or storage site. And then from there, what I'll do is build out maybe a small little area over here. I'd also like to connect the railway into here if we can get it. I think that would make a lot of sense. But for right now, I'm just going to finish this off and turn this into a little site. And then I'll just add some trees behind here. Maybe maybe add some gravel parking. One of the things that I'm already noticing is these will spawn assets. For some reason, I thought they wouldn't spawn assets. I don't know, maybe I'm just used to them not doing it. All right, and that's pretty much going to do it. I don't want to get too particular. I noticed that some of the assets are spawning in and it's going to be ruining things, but for now, this is a perfectly fine forestry industry in my opinion. And I'm tempted to see about that train connection now. So let's see. Let's grab our transportation. Let's go to train. I guess I need to be more careful of our budget. Negative 179,000. It keeps fluctuating. I think last time I said we were in a good place, and now we're immediately not already. Let's see, if we did want to add something in, we could have our medium train lumber yard. So I feel like there's definitely a connection that could be sent through here. It's only 50,000 for this. The upkeep is only 3,000 a month. And that's really not that bad. If we orientate it right here, I mean, we'll have to use space that we don't own, but I'm fine with that. That's how we built the train connection in the first place. I don't think you should have to buy a tile just to build out a train connection. I definitely want to make sure that this has access to the main Ashland, I guess, is what I've been calling it lately. I really got to stop doing that and generalize this area. And then from our forestry industry, plus it also goes to our cargo port as well, which is a really big plus. So we can export it, we can import it, and we can produce it, for these areas as well. And because this is cheap enough, we're not gonna worry about the cost. I'm gonna align it somewhere right around here. And then let's grab our main through road. First, we're gonna snap this onto here like that. And I'd like this to be just a bit more gentle. So we have a nice little decent curve, goes all the way to there. We won't have it connect into this side. Or I guess this is poor planning on my part. We definitely could have it connect on this side as well. What's the grade here? It's not even that bad, but I feel like it might just be a bit lazy if we don't connect it here. So let's also get rid of the trees here. And let's start with this connection first, because I feel like if this one doesn't work, we'll have to make some adjustments. And are these single or double? So these look like they're single. So we'll connect these into a double because I don't know enough about trains. So here's a double train track non-electrified. I'm gonna try and grab somewhere in the middle, like right here. And then we'll connect these in. And that is a bit rough. Oh no, I've created a monster. But this gives us an opportunity anyways. Let's grab our one-way train track that's not electrified. And my anarchy doesn't allow too steep curves. I made sure to turn that off so I'd never make that mistake. So coming at a 90, something like that. Okay, and that's not too bad. I should have paid more attention to this grade. Didn't seem like it was too bad at all. Now let's go back and grab our unelectrified forestry building, and this is train, so we're gonna flatten this area. I'm worried that this might be a bit too steep, so let's see. I don't think that's overly that bad, so we'll pull this back to right about here, because that's about the edge of our tile, so that's as far as we can go. Then let's redraw this road in. Now the interesting part with this is we should probably be able to have a much more gentle curve into here. There we go. That's pretty nice. Now I'm not entirely sure whether this should be a double track or a single track. And I need a crossing point for these as well. So we will grab our double. We'll go right about here. Ooh, now we're starting to see that it definitely is a bit steep. So I'm gonna flatten this. I'm gonna slope up to here from here. Okay, then I just want to get this somewhere fairly straight. And then I'll break into each of these. So we'll start with this one. And there, now there's a crossing point. So they can switch tracks if they want. And then they can go into here. And then into here. And all of that looks like it makes sense to me. Then we'll come down here and do something similar. So be a bit tight here, but I think we can make it work. So we'll try and meet up here. We'll probably bridge across this segment. So let's just get that bridge in right now. And then let's break this segment right here and just re-upgrade it back to a normal ground level. And then from here, we can have our entry points. There we go. Okay, so it seems like it makes enough sense for me. And then we just need to connect into here, which shouldn't be all that difficult. And this road doesn't actually exist anymore. It's kind of been made redundant. I'm only keeping it in right now for the future because we still paid for it. We might as well use it eventually. In order to get across here, I imagine that the train tracks probably would have been here first before the road. So let's cut some of this out. And then from here, we'll continue this straight just a bit, but we're going to flatten this little hill right here. I'm sorry, hill. And let's also get a little bit of flat area for this as well. And then I just want to slope up to here just to make my life a bit easier in the future. And then we'll continue this straight. And then from here, we're going to curve in, but we'll use our one way. Try and come in at a 90. And we'll need to redo this because I didn't get the right side. There we go. Yeah, that works for me. And over here, we're going to do the exact same thing. There we go. Now, as long as I understand, everything should work. You can come on. You can also come off. I guess making this one way creates a conflict point where only one train can go through at a time. I can't imagine that the real difference for adding the extra tracks right here would be all that much. So I'm going to add them back in. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe adding this in would create conflict points. I don't know. If you know anything about trains, please help me. So then let's just continue this road back up. And to do this, we'll build out a little bridge. Yeah, that works for me. Let's grab our top height and we'll just slope up. I'm going to grab our node and just try and pull this in a bit. Especially this one because we don't have a pillar here. Okay, so then you're coming through. I feel like the pillar there might be a bit silly. We'll just straighten this out just a tiny bit. Okay, and everything there should be good. So now we just need to actually set a line. And this is probably where we're going to need more trains, because I don't think we really have enough trains at the moment. Let's see. We can add, so we have 4 to 6 in use. So we can definitely dedicate a train to bouncing back and forth. So we will grab our train tool, or our cargo railway tool, and then we will, I guess we want it to start here. We'll have it go to our outside connection. Then we'll have it come back in. Then from there, it can make a stop into our cargo port. And I feel like we might jam this up, but it should be fine. And then we can come back into our train terminal. From there, we just end it back off where we started, which is right here. And this is probably going to want to assign a million trains that we don't have. So we can only assign a minimum of 2. Well, that's a bit rough, but we can live with it. And it's giving us a 40 wagon. I think we can maybe do with a 15 wagon. And do we have anything stored here? So we have a little bit of timber stored here, but no wood yet. And let's go take a look to see how much wood we're actually producing. Yeah, we're not even hitting our deficit yet. That's rough. So if we're not even hitting our deficit yet, or we still have way more room to go, I'm going to quickly add in a few along this side now, just doing everything we've already done. And these are growing back, right? I hope so. I think they grow back. It's been a while since I played Forestry Industry. I've been playing this in Alba for like, what, 3 or 4 months now? So I'm going to add some in here, and here, here, and maybe here. Maybe this will be a storage though. And for this one, let's just remove these trees. And we're going to get close to our highway, but we're still going to have a decent amount of separation from it. And I need to remember that we do have a bit of some terrain to work with, but it doesn't look like it's anything overly dramatic. It's kind of a main road. So I'm going to draw one right here and break this into 2. That actually reminds me, I'm going to convert this one, before I forget, into an alleyway. It is our main road, so I would expect something just a bit more from all the freight traffic that'll go on it. And then from here, we'll add one forestry building right about here. And then we'll have another branch off from this road. There we go. Now everything's looking good in that. And then I'm just going to stretch these surfaces out. And I think over here, we'll actually add a little pond. And so we won't stretch this one all the way over. Instead, we'll do something kind of like this instead. And that'll be our limit. But we might extend this limit just a bit. Okay, and that'll give us our borders for there. Then I'm just going to extend this road down just a bit further, make it feel a bit more natural. And then for these two, I think we're probably just going to use the same trees we've been using. We have our live California oaks, we have our spruce trees, and then we have our normal oaks. And I think right here we'll do our normal oaks. And now we're going to add key walls to this to create somewhat of a fence or a barrier. And surprise, surprise, this has only made it worse. So we're going to try something here. Let's grab, or first let's unlock. We haven't used our points in a long time. We'll unlock our roundabouts. And then let's grab our very large floral roundabout, or really any of these will do. We'll turn off anarchy though. And I want trucks to be able to go through just in case, but I think we'll do something like this. And what is that going to delete? Okay, so it doesn't matter if I turn anarchy on now. All right, I'm going to let this simulate for a second and see if this actually fixes anything. Okay, and before I let this try and sort itself out, I'm noticing we have a movement that we should probably fix here. So we'll grab our 3-lane asymmetrical highway, or a zonable 3-way highway, whatever I'm naming it these days. And I just want to pull this over, kind of like that. Quickly add our key wall back to it. And then essentially it should work like this. If you're coming this way, you can either come directly into the town, or you can follow along here and go down this road. If you're coming this way, it seems like this has just been dedicated as a right turn. And I think I can be fine with that. I don't know how much it makes sense though, given that this road shouldn't see that much use. And it seems to have made things just a bit worse. So I'm also going to grab this road right here and change it from the 3-lane asymmetric to the zonable 3-lane highway. Let's see if that has any impact on this whatsoever. I don't expect it to. I don't know if this is better or worse. It almost seems like it's kind of getting worse. So what I think I'm going to do, well, one of the big problems, first of all, is that this road is just not even close to a line to the roundabout. Right now they're facing this way, and we'd want them to face that way. And one of the ways to fix this right here would just be to upgrade this to a 4-lane. I think that's what we're going to start with right now. Where is our zonable 4-lane 2-way highway? There you are. I'm going to grab this and pull this in. And the problem is it doesn't really make sense to have this extra lane right here. So this needs to be flipped. Flipped and fixed. Or it doesn't make sense because I've restricted this movement. That's why it doesn't make sense. So if I wanted to fix it, all I'd have to do is unrestrict that movement. And something like this is probably what I'm looking for. And then I just want to give this a little bit of love. Like that. But I do see a broken node. There's something kind of like that. Set to vanilla, remove unsafe. Ban that turn. And it looks like I've broken some of our landscaping as well. I'm gonna grab everything that's a node. And I believe a segment. I'm gonna align this all to the same height. And that's gonna break that, of course it will. Okay, at least we don't have a broken node. It's really what I was caring about there. Now I'm gonna add my key back in. And I don't want to restrict this to a right turn only unless I was going to move this here. But that doesn't make much sense. I guess it could make sense actually. So here you have to turn left, or you can go forward. From here you can merge right on, and apparently you can turn left. Banning that. Because if you're coming here you can still get on through this way. Wow. It's not letting up, is it? Now, of course, there's still this one to fix right here. Can I fix it by manipulating it? Probably not in a nice, clean way. And these aren't even connected, I don't think. Which begs the question, are these? Yeah, okay. So I think I'm gonna get rid of this connection right here and have this be more focused on there. And then I'll add in a connection through here. I'm gonna come around right about here and then I'll connect back in. And of course, everyone wants to go down here now, and I'm banning left turns, just for now. Okay, and with a bit of priority, this seems... Oh, okay, never mind. I shouldn't have spoke. I shouldn't have spoke. But this does seem to be clearing up now. Okay, there we go. This is in a much better place. So now this road, of course, is going to have some troubles. Because people want to get onto our main little rural highway, I guess, if you can call it that. But for now, I think I can be happy to leave this. So let's get back to our forestry industry before I get too distracted. And I think we were pretty much done those two. We just wanted to add in the retention ponds. Or these wouldn't really be retention ponds. I'm gonna go with the automated water source. And I want it to be about here. Let's reduce the radius quite a bit and see what that gives us. And then let's take a look to see where we are in terms of our production. So our deficit has definitely shrunk, maybe 1 or 2 more, and then we should be ready to kind of move on from this. Okay, and then we have some crime issues happening in our forestry industry, but we don't really have the police services to deal with this. It's kind of the problem here. Like, even our crime probability over here is bad. I think we could definitely use one more police station. We'll grab a small police station for now, and we're gonna orientate it. We don't want it to be too close to here because that's where our main police station is. And I don't want it to be too close to here because it would get stuck in traffic 100%. And that really leaves a spot like right here. Let's grab an alleyway. And we'll go from the middle of this road right here. And I guess actually we'll just connect in both ways. And we'll add a little cul-de-sac there for fun. And then this will only be set here, here, or not here. Here, 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 and our new area. So let's give this a district. There we go. And right now it's called Elizabeth Junction. If you have a better name for our forestry industry, then let me know. And then we'll add that in. And then this should resolve hopefully fairly soon once a vehicle is dispatched. Oh yeah, we also need to get death care and all of that. So everything assigned to Redlow, we should just be able to assign here. Now everything should pretty much be taken care of. A lot of these will grow back, and that's probably when our deficit will creep up. So let's see, we're at 0.7 tons per month. We're almost there. We're almost there. We keep getting close, and then I imagine they start cutting down a bunch of the trees. Okay, and that's going to be it for our forestry industry. Let's see where we're ending off. We're ending off at 0.8 tons of deficit per month, but I think this will get better over time, or worse. Probably worse, but we can try and be optimistic about it instead. 3 big ones left. It's grain, cotton, and stone. I see those as the big ones. These two are a bit smaller, and I'm inclined not to worry about them for now. For stone, I originally had the idea of making it over here, or I think this was for gem mining actually, or what is it? Metal ore. For metal ore, we do have a bunch right here. So let's take a look at our natural resources. And we can see that we have some, but I don't want to buy another tile until we have the money to afford it. And stone mining can be pretty much set up anywhere. We could maybe even set it up right here. It would be a pretty ugly use to have right here, but we definitely could. It's kind of flat, but back here it's not too bad. So maybe we could set up a small scale stone mining industry right here. I think that's what we're gonna do. So let's grab this road right here. We'll do something like this, and then we'll come down, and where is our stone? There it is. And then I think we could probably place it. Yeah, I think the main building should be down here, but I also want to decrease the height a bit and place it right about here. So we'll have our main connection right here. And that's the one I want to connect into the road. And then we'll just drag this across. I'm going to do some terraforming and create some small little edges. And this is pretty much going to be it. Like I said, it's going to be really small scale. And then we'll add in our guardrail, starting right about here. Let's drag this out. Okay, so this will pretty much be it. And then I'm not even really going to detail this because I have spent hours detailing these before. And the problem is that they always end up spawning in assets or changing the terraforming, or a giant kind of excavator will pop up and just terraform a giant circle around where you spent forever detailing. And it's ridiculous. So because of that, I don't really worry about these anymore. What I will do just to improve this slightly though, is just to scatter some rocks everywhere, and we'll sink these into the ground just a bit. And this is pretty much all I want to do for here. But let's also add in some parking, and we'll go with something pretty basic. One of these small gravel lots. And then I'm just going to add some trees around here so I don't absolutely hate it. There we go. And that's pretty much going to be it for our little stone mining building here. So last thing I'm going to focus on for our deficits is our grain and our cotton. And let's move over to Highland over here, or Hillside. And we're going to expand these farms around this area. We already own the land, so it's easy to use. We're going to follow a very similar pattern here to how we've already developed. And I believe that's what? 20 across and 20. So it's 20 by 20. So we're going to turn constant slope off. I'm going to come up 20, over 20, and then in 20, do the same thing. I'll probably stop there for now. In the future, we definitely can go up here. Just want to make sure, what do we need? We need grain and cotton. So we will put, let's say, cotton here, some more grain over here, cotton here, cotton. And our deficit for cotton is slightly higher. So we'll add more cotton than we would anything else. And then the rest can just be grain. And we could maybe even break this one up into 2 chunks. And I'm just going to do all the surfaces. I'm going to take a guess and say they don't have enough natural resources, and yeah, that makes sense. I removed the resource from this area, so let's add it back in. Weirdly enough, I can't even get people to move in here. I wonder what the problem is. We have our natural resources now, so this shouldn't be an issue. Is it maybe just because the land is too small? Okay, so that immediately kicks someone to come in. Okay, now it seems like every single one has a business in there, except for this one. So we'll give this one a little tweak as well. Here, have all this space. And then let's take it right back from you. There we go. So everything looks pretty much perfect. Now, last thing we have to do is, first of all, I guess let's see what our production is. So cotton, we have a surplus, and grain, we now have a surplus. Perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. And now for detailing, I'm going to keep this super simple as always for areas like this. Trees around the side. We'll do some surface work, and that's pretty much going to be it. And it doesn't look as good as it used to. That used to make it look really, really good. I find now it kind of makes it looks okay. I'm wondering if we can use the white transparency color on this one to make it seem a bit more bright. I don't know how else will turn out though. I don't think we had any cotton farms in Ashland until these ones. I don't know about that one. I really don't know about that one. It almost feels like it's just a bit too much. Like if we're gonna go that hard, we might as well just go this hard. I wish there was a 10% for this white. Because right now it kind of just feels like an asset didn't load. So I'll delete it and I'm gonna leave it like that for now. Our wood deficit's going back up. Everything else looks to be pretty good. So now that we're in a good place for there, let's just spam this with trees and move on from this area. And now before I spend all of our money, let's move on. We've got our forestry industry that's now up and running. We've got a bunch more farms. We have our stone as well. We've got our stone. And I think those are really the key things that I wanted to fix for the cost of living. We made some pretty big improvements to our economy, and those will help over time. For right now, we're going to call it. Let's do a quick before and after. Okay, and that is a wrap. I'm not so sure we fixed our economy entirely, at least in ways that we can see right now, but I am sure we made a big improvement that will have effects ripple out in the future. I hope you enjoyed. As always, big shout out to our Patreon members, Ganger, Shant, and Griffin Harding. If you want to help support the channel or check out Ashland for yourself, head over to Patreon. If you haven't already, a like, comment, and subscription really go a long way, and I'll see you in the next one.